Pentecostal Charismatic Council has thrown its support behind the Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021. In a statement signed by the President of the National Executive Council, Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong Manso, the GPCC indicated that its stance stems from its long-standing biblical position on the, quote, preservation of God's original plan for marriage, procreation, and the preservation of family values. It adds that any attempt to pervert that system will be fiercely resisted through all spiritual, physical, and legal means. The Council admits that there is more room for improvement on the bill and therefore called on the Ghanaian populace to contribute to it through intellectual debates devoid of the insults and mudslinging that they claim has characterized this particular bill, which leaked sometime this week on social media. Let's speak now to Reverend Emmanuel Bariga. He's the General Secretary of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. Thank you for joining us. Now, you have thrown your weight behind this particular bill, but you've also heard the acrimony and some of the scorn that has greeted contents or portions of this bill. How do you respond to that as a council?
Thank you very much. We are not only throwing our support behind the bill. In fact, we are a part of the National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values. So we are active members of the coalition who have, collaborated with some members of parliament to present this private members bill to parliament. Yeah. So we are not only throwing our support behind them. We are a part of them.
Right. Now, some have accused, you proponents of this particular bill of attempting to stifle some freedoms and rights of a certain minority group in this country. How do you respond to those concerns?
No, we are not stifling any freedoms or rights. In fact, we must be able to distinguish between what are rights and what are preferences. Preferences are not rights. And issues concerning LGBTQ, IAA, P+, are not issues of human rights. If you remember some years back, the International Court of Justice ruled unanimously that issues of LGBTQI issues are not human rights issues. In fact, if you look at it very carefully, there's nothing human, there's nothing right about that kind of sexual preference that people prefer.
Why the claim that people are making is that portions of this particular bill which seeks to criminalize, promotion of anything related to that. In fact, discussions around this subject, even on digital platforms or traditional media platforms, could constitute a crime. So these are the portions they speak about stifling freedoms of expression, for example.
Now, we don't think so, because if we criminalize the promotion of something that is criminal, something that is illegal, I don't think there's nothing wrong about it. We know that armed robbery is illegal, it's criminal. You think people can go about on the radio, advertising for armed robbery, for murder, and for rape? No, because they are criminal. So if LGBTQ issues are criminal and someone is advocating for them, advertising and promoting them, that should also be criminal.
I wonder where the parallel you're drawing between armed robbery and this matter lies. But let's step away from that and speak to some of the portions you admit could be fine-tuned. For example, what are these areas?
Now, we have put out the bill in its form, in the form that it has been presented. And people have come out to say, for instance, that the sanction regime is too severe. Some have said it is too lenient. Some have said it is too severe. Some have spoken about the stifling of free speech, as you have said, and some have raised other issues. So what we are saying is that if you have any reservations, if you have any contributions to make into the fine-tuning of the bill so that it can be passed into a law that will help all of us, please bring up those issues. Because we have realized that the debate is trying to turn into something more than what we would expect, into insults, name-calling, threats, and all that, which we think should not be the case. If you have any issues about the bill, you have the right to present memoranda, you have the right to present papers, or whatever way you want to contribute to improving the bill or expunging even portions of it, if you think so, you can bring them up and we can all have, intellectual discussions on them and then come to a common position on the issues that we have.
Finally, wrap up for me briefly on this point. So how about the concerns about certain donor agencies and aid groups are going to cut aid to Ghana if this is pushed through and, paints a certain dim image of a country out there, according to certain proponents?
Well, I don't know how this is going to dent the image of the nation, because LGBTQ issues are things that are not consistent with our cultural values and norms, our religious beliefs and all that. So I don't know how it's going to dent our image. We don't believe in those things as a nation. And we are proud that we don't believe in those things.
All right.
So if it's somebody's way of life, fine, that person can go ahead with it. But nobody should try to impose, such things on us. As to the matter of, people denying us of the aid that we want, well, I think the late President Atamils said it very lucidly that, well, they can take their aid, and we want to preserve the sanctity of life that the Lord God himself has gifted us.
Thank you very much, Reverend Emmanuel Bariga. He is the General Secretary of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. They're speaking to us.